most men approach women to get approval. But what if every approach was a divine mirror, showing whether you were prepared for war or retreat? The cold approach is not for women, it's for God. It's a spiritual audit. If you're tired of being stuck in the simulation, read the Unruly Blueprint. You don't need more lines. You need to rebuild your nervous system and become a man she feels. The link's in the description below. Let's get right into it today. The cold approach. Many of you think that getting women from a cold approach is all about the game. It's all about the words you say. It's all about riz. The truth behind the cold approach is your frame and your nervous system structure. If you are weak and you go up to women weak, you will be exposed. It will showcase who you are to them, along to yourself, and then you will either retreat or you will then try to criticize the woman. And that's why you must take all that information and analyze it and change. Because it's not the cold approach, it's you. And here's why. Point 1, cold approach is a mirror, not a technique. The cold approach exposes you to yourself and who you are under pressure. You see, when you go up to a stranger, let alone a feminine woman, you're going to be put under pressure. Your masculine energy on a polarity spectrum is going to be tested. Why? You're probably going up to feminine women. And so what does that do? If the masculine polarizes the feminine, what do you think the feminine does to the masculine? Precisely. So she's going to polarize you just as you're going to polarize her. So the second you walk up to her, the polarization game starts. It triggers because now the two, masculine and feminine, are within proximity. So now it's all a game of who and where do you sit on the spectrum. And there are all the rest of the laws at play, but who are you on the spectrum if we're going from a standpoint of masculine and feminine? And so if your structure has hairline fractures, you're going to be exposed because the pressure of the feminine energy is going to be imposing itself onto you, and it's going to force you into a masculine area. If you are not masculine at your core and your nervous system is scattered, you won't be able to stand in your discipline in understanding your structure enough for her to feel safe to sit back and relax and let you take lead. What men do is they chase the reaction. You're chasing what she thinks of you, which in other words means you're trying to validate your own existence, your own identity, the things that you have, the money that you may wield, and you want it to be justified by the feminine. It's not that you sit in your masculine frame or structure. You're looking for justification. You're looking to be approved by the feminine. Hey, look at me. Let me put on the right words so that she can validate that I did the right thing. What? Approval. You don't come with structure. You're looking to be validated. You're looking for your fucking masculine card to be stamped by a feminine woman. You see what men of law do? Men of law come with their structure and discipline to understand that the outcome doesn't matter. I found you attractive. Your signal, your frequency attracted me. We caught eye, and now it's time to play ball, to say, I see you, you see me. What are we going to do about it? Point blank, period. And if the outcome is she's not interested, you continue and move on. That doesn't mean that your frame isn't justified. The way that you operate isn't correct. I felt just as good as walking over here as I feel walking away with no number. See, there's a refined courage that comes with being a man walking in law that understands his masculine discipline. I understand that rejection is possible, but does it make me or change me, break me even? Absolutely not. Will I regard her as foolish for not taking me? Absolutely not. Who cares? Her loss. Keep moving. Right? There's so many other opportunities for you to understand the feminine and get to know them at a deeper level. And sometimes you have to then take the acknowledgement to say, this didn't work out. She's still going to be her. I'm still going to be me. And we're perfectly fine. But you get it fucked up to her saying no to you. You think there's something wrong with you. Really? Which then means that your structure was never intact. You had hairline fractures of self-doubt. And her not validating that by giving you her number or access to her further then made your masculine feel rattled. And so therefore you then take that rejection as humiliation instead of initiation. Because if you end up going up to a woman and she rejects you and you feel some kind of way and you feel flustered or you feel doubtful or even more doubtful than you did when she was walking up to you, that has something to do with you. You have now been exposed. The cold approach is about being exposed. It's to see if your structure is really what you think it is or not. This isn't dating. This is initiation protocol. Click the blueprint if you're ready to train for something far beyond women. Point 2, your nervous system is the battlefield. You're not being rejected because you're unattractive. A lot of you have all these qualities about you that are very attractive to women. What you're being rejected by is the fact that your frequency is scattered. You don't have a centralized nervous system, and therefore when you walk up to women, they feel this scattered energy, and it's off-putting. Your words are weak. The way that the things that you say, you don't say it with confidence as believing, you say it almost as if you're asking. So it feeds back into that validation loop. You soften your tone. You change the words you say. You change your body language even. And so all of this is being analyzed by the feminine. Take the time to assess yourself in the way that you operate instead of always judging it as if your rejection was your physical body or the things that you were wearing, because many times it's not. It has nothing to do with your external wear, but more so your internal structure and how you presented in the way that you're operating within frame or not. You fear the approach itself. So you don't even want to go up to them. You think they're gorgeous, you think you can pull them, and so you start to walk over. But you're in fear, you're in full fear mode. This isn't a structured, I understand myself for who I am, I stand firm on my foundation, and I'm perfectly fine. No, you walk over there in fear of being rejected, which is already emitting off the wrong signal. The fear of the approach is really your fear of being exposed because you understand that the foundation that you stand on isn't firm. The masculine energy that you give off isn't solidified. So you're going over in fear of approach, which really is you're fearing being exposed by a feminine woman. That's why it feels like humiliation when she rejects you. And that fear of being exposed is really fear of death, because what? You're going to be humiliated in front of the masses, which is equaling a death. What you thought your confidence was, you built up enough confidence to walk over to the gorgeous woman, and now you're being exposed to the fact that you weren't ready to deal with her, and then she rejects you, and then the death comes of your ego. You have a small ego death. You start to question yourself. You may insult her to feel better, to try to hold or hide the fact that your ego has been damaged a bit. You see, it's all a game of exposure of structure. And this is why I continue to say you must live in law. You must understand who you think you are. Allow those thoughts to then turn into emotions that are very confident in identity. Let those thoughts then become your action. The steps that you take every day to create the person that you see in your head out into the external world. Your vibration is your movement. So every day you're moving, it increases your frequency. Polarity, you're sitting on a masculine scale and you understand where you need to be and how you need to operate to change the fabrics of your reality, to sit on this side of the spectrum instead of whatever the opposing side is. Your rhythm is then making sure that you continue to do it long enough in sync on a daily basis, rhythmically. Have a routine so that it solidifies over a longer period of time. 21 days you form a habit. Cause and effect. What are you putting inside to then get the effect? Are you putting the right routine together to get the effect of having what you think in your brain of who you are? Or are you slipping and slacking, putting in bullshit and then not getting the effect that you're looking for? And then sitting in your gender of masculine discipline to stay rooted even when shit happens externally. Instead of being feminine and going over to your emotions. That's the law of gender. Okay, cool. So now you understand that the laws are always in effect. Therefore, when you go up to women, they are also still in effect. Who do you think you are as you're walking up to her? Are you solid, or are you just a boy with a man's costume? So then you have to flaunt all of the external things. And this is where a lot of you get caught up. You think you can just go up to women, flash your money, flash your clothes, flash your car even. And then when she then plays you, gives you the seduction that you're looking for, which is just a fake validation of who you are, she understands that that validation will then give her access to you. She knows how to do it. Seduction's easy. You're a pussy hole. You're a boy with a man's suit on. You'll bend for a piece of ass and you'll give her everything she's looking for. So use you as a tool, take all your resources, and then go fuck the masculine man who she really wants. And you'll never know because she gave you a little ass. But she was never fully feminine with you. What, you got a few back shots? You hit her in motion missionary? You didn't get her true feminine. Her true feminine. And this is why you still watch the hub even after you get a little ass. Because you understand that women don't bend to you, they bend to your resources, which is just your costume because you understand that your internal structure is fractured and you don't want to do the hard work to making sure that the foundation that you stand on is solid. So when you go up to these women, you get validation not for who you are, but for your external material things. And then you want to call them gold diggers when it's really not them, it's you. Because if you had structure that was impenetrable and you stood within your masculine disciplines and walked in law and your nervous system was in a neutral state, you would walk up to women with absolutely nothing on and they would revere you as a masculine man and become very feminine. But you're scared of rejection. And you don't want to be exposed for the weak man that you are. You don't want to do the hard work of making sure that your foundation is always solid. You don't want to refine yourself. It takes too much time. It takes too much effort. And so you will always sit there fearing that the woman will reject you because you're not going to get your validation stamp. She's not going to give you access to her. Well, good. She's dodging a bullet. And then you'll run around and tell people that women aren't shit, when realistically all you had to do was work on your structure. Now, this is not to negate the fact that women are very masculine at this very time because they have no other choice, right? Men are weaker today than they were in yesterday's years, and therefore women don't want to be feminine, so they have to be masculine and make shit work for them, i.e. going on OnlyFans, i.e. tricking all of y'all while they come and fuck Tyrone. There's not enough masculine men around, so they'll fall for the weak men, allow the weak men to pay their bills and do all the fuckery, but the second the weak man exposes too much of his weakness, she's going to leave because she can't tolerate it anymore, which then forces her to become masculine. And so when you walk up to her with a weak structure, your masculinity is now exposed for what it is or what it's not. But on the counterpart, I want you to also understand that if you are a masculine man and you're doing everything right in your structure and you're still being rejected, remember what I just said. Women are also becoming very masculine in today's age. So when you walk up to a woman with your masculine frame, it's going to force her back into her feminine energy. If she doesn't necessarily understand what that feminine energy looks like or feels like, she's going to run from you. She's not going to like it very much because it rattles her nervous system, right? Women also have a nervous system that they have to regulate. And so when you're a masculine man pushing women that were masculine because they had to be, back into a feminine state of being, and they don't recognize that energy, they will flee from it and become very, or force themselves to be even that much more masculine. So don't get it misconstrued. While I tell you to build your structure and make sure that it's refined enough so that you can walk in full confidence on your structures, sometimes that doesn't work because of the state that the world is in. But it's your duty to continue to walk away from that and not revere all women to be that, and still continue to go after the women that you seek or desire. Because there are very feminine women out. But because you've gone with the narrative of understanding that society has only these fucking bullshit women, you're not going to want to go up to them. Right? Take the time to understand where you sit on the polarity scale of masculine and feminine. If you're a very masculine man, beware of the masculine women because you might be rejected because of that. But there's more weak men than there is masculine men that are very strong in structure. So this is not a shot to you. This is for you to, this is a moment of correction for you to take your nervous system, dissect every part of you and see where you might get rattled when you go up to women during this cold approach, and come back with that information and refine yourself over and over and over. And like I tell you, when it comes to women, you should be going up to women nonstop because we're all not perfect. We all just don't end up in the masculine area off bat. It is something that you must refine on a daily basis until it just becomes habit. Once it becomes habit, you will then lock in your natural state of being. And now going up to women seems like nothing to you. And when they reject you, it really doesn't matter because there's feminine women all over the place. 3, women are just the arena you're fighting yourself. Every cold approach is a mini ritual, is a micro ritual to showing your obedience to law or your avoidance of it. When you're going up in the cold approach, like I said, you're going to have an idea of who you are in your mind. But most of you fear being rejected, which means what you see up here of who you are doesn't correlate into the external world of how you actually approach women. So when you approach women, they then expose you to yourself. And that fractures your nervous system even more. It then makes your words rattled. You don't speak with confidence, and therefore they neglect or they reject you. And you take that rejection as ego death or death in total because you don't like feeling exposed in front of people. You then stop going up to women, not because of women themselves, but because of the fucking fight that you know you have to put up with yourself to get rid of the soft version of you. And every time you go up to women, it exposes you to that fight, and you don't want that confrontation with yourself because you've attached yourself to a false identity, boys in a man costume. And life even might be sweet for you because you use your material things to gain the women. But you'll never gain her to the way that you know you want to, because every man has to deal with his own soul. So if you understand that you're using material to gain women, women will always be around you, but no woman will ever revere you as that guy. They'll just use you for your resources and you'll feel it. Women don't bow to weak men because there's no structure around weak men. Right? And so what do? Because we live in a world that is run by material things. You must have money. It's very important. Okay, cool. Well, then they'll just regard you as the money man. They won't regard you as anything else. And hey, yeah, you might crack, right? You might get sexual access, but it's only so that it's a trade-off. It's transactional. They're giving you sex, you give her money. Instead of her giving you sex and exclusivity and all other things within her natural or within her feminine realm, because you sit so masculine in your structure that she has no other choice but to want to and feel safe to. Women are just the gate. Becoming someone who never flees is the objective. So use cold approach to fight yourself and see where you could be better. Stop running from the cold approach because you don't want to deal with yourself. Expose yourself to all weaknesses. You are going to continue to lose with women. I don't care if you have all the money in the world. I don't care if you have the house, the car, all external. If your nervous system is not in check, she's going to leave you. And then what worse, some of y'all try to hold down the shorty that loves your resources and your quote unquote external frame, but never commits to you. Therefore, if you lose all of that shit, she's going to run out the door. That's because you're a weak man and your structure isn't intact internally. So stop running from you. Point the fingers to yourself. Look in the mirror and see what those cold approaches are telling you about yourself. They're exposing you to some degree, either to show that you have all the structure that you said you had and that you thought you had in your mind, or they're showing you that you don't live up to the expectation that you have in your mind, which is why you flee, because you don't want to deal with that realization, because you then have to reconstruct. And the easiest way to tell if you have a structure that's fortified by law is if you still feel like the man that you walked up to her being. So if you walked up to her and you felt good, you felt confident, you were good, your structure was fine, you understood that, okay, cool, she might reject me, she might not, I don't really give a fuck, women are women. I can get any woman I want, okay, great. So you go up to the woman, she rejects you. Do you still feel that confidence when she leaves you or when she tells you no? Worse, do you feel that way when she says it in front of other people? Worse, do you feel that way when it's out in public where other people are watching you? Precisely. So understand that if you feel that you don't have that same structure, that same integrity that you had when you walked up to her as you're walking away, then something's wrong. Your nervous system needs to be corrected to some degree. Reassess your structure, put yourself back through law, and see where you can change. Because if she says no, again, it's not about her, it's about you. So listen, I'll give you a challenge. My favorite thing to do when it comes to a cold approach is go up to friend groups. When you go up to 3 gorgeous women, what does it do? There's a saturated amount of feminine energy that you're about to walk into. So what is it? It overexposes you. Not only does it crack the veil, it takes the veil off completely. It burns all illusion of who you think you are. So what you do is you walk up to 3 women and you see what happens to your nervous system. Because if your nervous system can confidently speak to 3 feminine women who are imposing polarization onto you, into your masculine, you will have no issue because you're a masculine man. But if you're not fully masculine and you're not fully structured and you're not fully disciplined and your nervous system isn't sitting neutral, you're going to get very skittish. Worse, you're going to polarize yourself over to the feminine because that's probably where you actually sit naturally, because you were programmed that way. People coddled you. Life gave you everything you wanted. You've never had to deal with hard exterior pressures, and therefore you will always lean towards this feminine side of you because you've never had to go to your masculine, because you don't like confrontation. You don't like to be polarized. When you go to the three women, you identify which one you want, of course, right? But you still engage all three of them. Look all of them in the eye with eye contact. Always rotate. I don't care in what order you want to do it. If there are three women in front of you, you start with 3, look at her. The girl that you want may be 1, but you're looking at 2. So 3, 1, 2. You're giving all of them eye contact and engaging with everybody. Not only does that make everyone feel included, that also then gives you the opportunity to, when even if the one that you wanted rejected you, the other 2 still had a communication field or channel with you. Because you didn't just play the, I only see you, I only want you. That screams scarcity. I think I can get all 3 of y'all if I really wanted to. So breathe. And then what you do is you give all of them a handshake. Grab them right here, bro. I'm trying to tell you, works every time. When they shake your hand, put your thumb right there and put a touch of pressure. They need to feel you. And if you're not shaking hands, hug. Everyone loves a good hug, but you know what they're not going to do is hug a man that has no structure. Because if you're folding off of the rip when you walk up to them and you start to become a weak and your structure shifts, they're not going to talk to you. Matter of fact, they're not even going to want to hug you. And 3, this is why I also talk about image so much, because if you also aren't up to par in the image field, they're also not going to want to touch you. You might not even have cologne on. They're also, like, all of these things are just bonuses. When you smell good, you look good, you come with confidence, you stand within your masculine energy, regardless of how much feminine women are around you, and you can still hold frame and not bend. And so when you're interacting with all 3 of them, identify who you want, give the one that you want, and maybe you grab her and say, excuse me while I speak to, you'll know her name, right? So excuse me, look at the other 2 friends, excuse me while I speak to your friend. Because you're also still being a respectful man. Shows you're a gentleman. Push them off to the side. Now you're directing your one-on-one energy. A lot of y'all need 2-man. I don't need a 2-man because I know how to speak to the room. Speak to the 2 respectfully. Push them to the side, direct all your attention now after giving the entire group your attention. Select one, speak to them. They are also going to be turned on because of how masculine and how respectful you can be with them. She will also then revere you as a masculine man of structure because you didn't just play the pussy hole game where you acted like you wanted her and then just left because it was too much pressure. You knew how to stand your ground, say what you wanted, identify who you wanted in front of everybody else, and then go directly into the one-on-one. Easy. Won't be easy if you don't have a structure built in law. You're going to be fucking wavering the whole time, skittish, scared, and when you get exposed because these 3 women show you that you're not truly as masculine as you think you are, hey, you're cooked. So take the time to understand that the cold approach is not a game of women. It's a game of understanding who you are and how you can work on yourself to become better and being a man that stands within the fire of confrontation and still gets what he wants. Unscathed, unhurt, no shame in the game. Do not watch another How to Talk to Women video. Rebuild the man behind the words. Join Objective View and kill the coward in your chest. In your closing decree, you were never meant to chase women. You were meant to confront the side of you that flees every time your soul is called forward. Cold approach is not game. It's a spiritual battlefield, and only warriors walk away stronger. Consider yourself warned.